Good afternoon. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. We welcome you if you're here in the room in the sanctuary. We welcome you if you're at home watching this or traveling watching this on Zoom as well. And if you're watching this later on YouTube as well, we welcome you to Unity of Charlotte. My name is Reverend Jim Ernston. I am co-minister along with my partner, my wife, Reverend Lisa Herklotz, and you're going to get to hear from her a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and repeat our mission statement. So with me, please, out loud. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Yes, we're here to love, grow, and serve. If you are here for the first time, I would invite you to gently raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you here today. Is anyone here for the first time? Anyone here for the first time? Okay, well, then we've all been here at least once before. If you're here for the first time on Zoom, I invite you to say hello to the rest of your group on Zoom in that chat room. And if you'd like, you can also ask for a visitor packet. We'd be happy to get that out to you if you're on Zoom and want more information from us. We also have information. Let's go ahead and go to that next slide. So our website, our newsletter, our Facebook, our YouTube, and our bulletin board. Ooh, that was pretty close. I was trying to time those as those guys rolled across the screen. These are the ways that you know what's going on within our community. You can always, as you walk out into the hallway there, that bulletin board will always have the details of what's going on, the day, the time, the details of that. But if you haven't signed up for our newsletter as well, that goes out once a week and has all that good information. We've ramped up our Facebook post again, and there is inspirational quotes on there. So check our Facebook post and like us and friend us or whatever you do on social media. And the YouTube videos, you can always watch a previous service on YouTube. So these are the ways that you can stay in touch with us. I invite you to take that breath, let it out as we settle into this quiet time. If it feels right, closing your eyes and just listening to my voice as we get in touch with that idea of divinity within ourselves, knowing that divinity brings us together as one. We are part of that divinity, and that divinity lives through us, in us, through us, and as us. And we're so grateful for this knowledge and this ability. We're grateful for this chance to meet on a Sunday, this building that we have to come together, and for each other as we meet and join together. Together we say, amen. Please join me in our prayer of oneness. So together, there is one presence and one power in my life and universe. God, the good, omnipotence. If you're holding somebody in concern or prayer, this is the chance to do that as we come together and speak those names or those situations out loud. So I invite you to say that out loud now. And we do. We hold these names, we hold these situations knowing the best is on its way, knowing the best is here right now. Amen. I'd like to invite up, is it Ron Margarita at this point for our daily word? As they are coming up, I also want to remind everybody we have a prayer box here, and you can always contact our prayer team with all that they do as well. Okay.
Good afternoon. Our word for today is acceptance. I practice acceptance and find peace. In the past, I have rested on welcome situations and unwanted outcomes. Over time, I have learned that my resistance did little more than leave me agitated and unhappy. I have learned to trade resistance for acceptance. Accepting situations as they are does not mean I like what is happening. But it does mean I am willing to be present to it without resistance or struggle. From that place, I'm better able to work toward creating better conditions for myself and others. When I practice acceptance, I invite the presence of God to inspire and comfort me. I shift my attention from what might feel wrong to that which is always right. The absolute, unchanging goodness of God. Not that I am referring to being in need, for I have learned to be content with whatever I have. Philippians chapter 4, verse 11.
La palabra diaria de hoy es aceptación. Practico la aceptación y encuentro la paz. En el pasado me he resistido a situaciones y a resultados no deseados. Con el tiempo he aprendido que mi resistencia no hizo más que causarme frustración e infelicidad. He aprendido a cambiar la resistencia por la aceptación. Aceptar las situaciones como son no significa que esté de acuerdo con lo que ocurre, sino que estoy dispuesto a afrontarlo sin resistir o luchar. Desde esta perspectiva, soy más capaz de crear mejores condiciones para mí y para los demás. Cuando practico la aceptación, invito a la presencia de Dios a inspirarme y a consolarme. Cambio mi atención de lo que podría ser malo a eso que siempre es bueno, la absoluta e inmutable bondad de Dios. No lo digo porque tenga escasez, pues he aprendido a estar contento en cualquier situación. Filipenses 4:11.
I have a quick question for you. How many shower singers do we have? Who sings in the shower? A couple, okay. How about the car? Car, more, okay. I'm in the car. I have sung in the shower too. These are my two favorite places because you can't actually hear my voice because I do not have a great singing voice. But why do we do that? It feels good, doesn't it? Like to just roll the window down, crank up a song, and just belt it out. There's something really powerful about that. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. I'm glad to say I'm not the only one that does that. So to begin with, we're continuing our celebration of Black leaders within the Unity movement as we celebrate the Black History Month of February. And today I have picked somebody who is actually still very present, alive, and doing great work. So last week we went back to Reverend Ruth Mosley, who is really one of the founders within Unity of creating this transformation and expansion of consciousness to be more inclusive. Well, Reverend Charlene Manuel is still around. here and alive. She has taken that legacy that Reverend Ruth Mosley, Reverend Johnny Coleman started, and has brought it into this century and continues to grow. And I'm going to explain why I've picked her. I found a quote by CEO Jim Blake. Jim Blake is the CEO of Unity World Headquarters. And he said, Charlene has been the single most influential catalyst for diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives implemented at Unity Headquarters since 2017. Now, 2017 doesn't seem like a long time ago, because she's fairly recent, but she's been doing this for over 30 years. And what has happened in these last few years has been a powerful manifestation of all the work that these leaders have been doing. And I want to talk a bit to that. Reverend Charlene is an ordained Unity minister. She's been a minister almost 30 years. She's a passionate advocate for raising awareness and changing the consciousness within the Unity movement. And she has been able to manifest real outcomes. And we see this outcomes in increased diversity, equity, and inclusivity. And we witness this through what is now in our publications. The articles, the ads, the writers have become much more diverse and inclusive. It's seen in the kinds of events and retreats they hold at Unity, the campus. Unity. Oh, that's so funny. Just totally left my head. The campus, where the village, Unity Village. There's the word. At Unity Village, they hold a lot of retreats and things, and they have expanded to hold retreats and workshops, not only for people of color, but also the LGBTQ community. They've changed their hiring practices, and that has created a growing diversity of faces across the campus. These are the things that she has been influential in bringing about. We even have one of the historic homes. I don't know if you know this, but at the village, there's a lot of historic houses that have gone into disrepair, and they have taken on remodeling them and turning them into Airbnbs. Because I don't know if you've ever been to Unity Village. It's a beautiful, beautiful retreat center. And so this was a really great process that's been going on. And they named one of the houses, one of the big, beautiful houses that got renovated, turned into an Airbnb, the Johnny Coleman House. So these are the kinds of changes we're seeing within Unity. And Charlene Manuel, Reverend Charlene, has been instrumental in bringing that about. She has been on the UWH board since 2022, and in 2022 she was elevated to chair of the board where she served, and turns out she was actually the first African American to chair the UWH board. So kind of a historic moment. And she currently serves on the faculty at the Unity Urban Ministerial School, which Reverend Jim covered so beautifully last week as we honored the legacy of Reverend Ruth Mosley. But here's the thing that really excites me about Reverend Charlene. How many of you know what the Parliament of World Religions is? A couple of people, good. The Parliament of World Religions is a gathering, thank you, a gathering in an organization of global world religious leaders. It started in 1893, was the first one. It was held in Chicago during the World Fair. I believe it was Swami Vivekananda who led it, but guess who else was there? Charles Fillmore. Charles Fillmore was at the very first Parliament of World Religions as a representative of Unity and New Thought. Reverend Charlene heard this years ago, and she started getting active within it. And not only has she been a presenter, she's been going to them and presenting, she also serves on their board. She's been serving on their board she's been active since 2004. She has done presentations. They have about every 3, 4, or 5 years, they hold a world conference or a summit. I've had the privilege to attend one of those in Toronto. It's an amazing experience if you have never been there, to have probably over 400 different kinds of religions represented, and just all kinds of workshops, all about building bridges, making connections, and promoting acceptance, which was so beautifully expressed in our daily word. So Reverend Charlene has done presentations advocating inclusivity and leadership for religious and spiritual leaders. She served on the board as secretary. She chaired the Global Ethic Committee, and she's now currently serving as co-chair of the board of the Parliament of World Religions. So this is very significant because she is representing and bringing unity and new thought and the spiritual principles that we teach and live by to the global stage. And this is very impressive to me. So I wanted to share and honor Reverend Charlene Manuel today as we're going into celebrating Black history, because even though she's not from the far past, she is absolutely creating history today. So with that, I want to pick the quality that I was so moved by in knowing this person, and talk about it today. And that is about the power of our voice. The power of our voice. Now, how we're gonna look at that power, but we're gonna look at how we use the power of our voice in our own lives. How do we use it in our communities, and why is it important to understand the power we have in the words we speak and the voice we use? Now, while Reverend Charlene brought this voice to the world and a global stage, we're gonna go back to looking at it at a very personal level and go look at the foundation of what voice really is. But first, I want to ask you here, how many have seen the movie Dune? Dune? A couple, not too many. Okay, well then you're not, then. Okay, you'll get this. And you'll get this. It's a sci-fi movie, and it has within it a cult of women who have the power to use their voice, and it's a inherited power. You have to be of a certain lineage to have this power. Now, of course, in sci-fi, as it often is, it becomes a power that gets used over people, so they can actually control people through how they use their voice. It's something they have to learn, a power they have to learn and hone. But it demonstrates to me how strong that vibration is when we speak. And we go back to that song, like singing, what it does, how it raises our vibration and our energy. Maybe something else you can relate to is an opera singer who can break a glass, who can shatter glass. How, with just voice, can you affect and impact something outside of you like that? Because it is vibration and energy. So let's think about for a moment in your own life, how do you see how you show up in a situation and use your voice and your words, how it can impact the energy of that situation and how that feels. Or when you have somebody speaking to you, how much you feel the energy and the vibration of not just the words, it's their voice. It's the energy behind those words. So we're gonna look into that a little deeper. I want to start by going to Unity's third principle. One way of saying the third principle is our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs have the power to create our reality. Our thoughts, fueled with feelings and beliefs, have the power to create our reality. I personally would change that to the power to create our experience of reality, because there is a reality that is created and manifest. That's a part of who and what we are a part of. But our experience of that is determined by our thoughts and feelings about it. Charles Fillmore, who most of you know is the co-founder of the Unity Movement, wrote a book called The Atom Smashing Power of Mind. And he talks, that whole book is about how life is energy. All of life is energy, and energy has vibration. So we live, he says the whole universe is in vibration, and the vibration is under law. Life is energy. The universe is an unlimited field of energy. So it's literally like we live and move and have our being in energy. We may call it God, we may call it spirit, we may call it the unified field. Whatever we call it, we live in it, we're a part of it, and we are made up of it. Charles Fillmore goes on to talk about how, as the whole universe is in vibration, each particular thing has its rate of vibration, including how we experience ourselves. Now, how then does our third principle move into this idea of vibration and energy? Is that our thoughts, hold on, I just lost my train of thought. Let me come back to it. If life is energy and vibration, our thoughts are like the tuning fork. Our thoughts are like a tuning fork, and our feelings. Now, because if you think about it, not every thought and feelings manifested, right? If every thought we had was manifested, I don't know how we would even be able to live. I mean, think about the thoughts going through your head. I think about my thoughts, oh no, don't want to go there. So we have so many thoughts that don't manifest because they need attention and focus to actually come forth in a form of manifestation. Attention and focus. And that's what we do with our feelings. Our feelings are the energy and the vibration we add to the thought that allows us to start to manifest an experience of life as we choose. Our voice and our words, the words we choose to use and the voice we speak from, are another way we amplify the thought and the feelings. Right? Because when you're sitting in your room by yourself, you're having thoughts, you're having feelings, and they kind of stay in a little bit of a bubble. But when you step forward and speak it, when you give it words and you speak it, what happens? Yes. You give it life. That's a great way to put it. You give it life. You put it out in the universe, and the universe responds, because the universe is all what? Energy and vibration, right? So, I want to talk a little bit about what Charles Fillmore talks about when he's looking specifically at the organ of the human voice. Because he says the organ of the human voice is located right next to the thyroid gland. Did you ever think about that? It's right next to the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland is the accelerator of certain important body functions. So he says that to a greater or less degree, every word you speak vibrates the cells up and down the body. The words I speak are creating a vibration within my own cells. And the more I speak, it's creating a vibration around me. So let's move to a quote by Myrtle Fillmore. Because Myrtle Fillmore, who is really the original founder of the thought process we use in Unity, because she discovered this through a teaching and began to practice it on her own body for healing, and had such amazing results that the Unity movement started to be founded from that. And she says, life is simply a form of energy and has to be guided and directed in our body by our intelligence. How do we communicate intelligence? Thinking and talking, of course. So life is energy, but it's just pure energy, pure vibration. We manifest and experience it by our thoughts. And our thoughts get manifested into words and voice. And this is how we put out into the universe what we're going to experience. Is this making sense? Kind of. All right. So I just want to move on to talk about the fact that Myrtle says there really is only two energies, love and fear, which is interesting because A Course in Miracles, for those of you who are in it, says what? There's only two emotions, love and fear. They get represented in a lot of different ways, but really we're either in a consciousness of love or we're in a consciousness of fear. That consciousness generates thoughts that then get fueled by feelings that get voiced through words and our voice and become a manifestation of what we experience in our life. So, this is why it's important to know and understand the power of our voice. Reverend Charlene, to me, was a really amazing example of being a voice for these principles to bring about change from a place very centered in Christ consciousness or love. That's the love consciousness. And she was able to manifest changes. She did it not only within unity, but she did it at the Parliament of World Religions, where she could begin to build bridges across all these traditions by bringing about a commonality and seeing that we can all come from the love consciousness. Every religion has that idea and that belief. Our words are increased in their power to manifest when they are coupled with feeling, because feeling adds vibration to the thought. So when we begin to process a feeling, and this is what I'm beginning to learn through the teachings of Michael Singer, is energy has a natural path to flow. And if we stop that path, then we block that energy within our bodies, in our minds, and it affects our emotional and our physical well-being. So emotions are neither good nor bad. It's not about good or bad. They're either emotions, and the vibration that they create are either constrictive or expansive. That's all. Anger and fear are going to be constrictive. Doesn't make you a bad person, it just means you're having an anger or fear moment. But we have the ability to open that up and experience love. But it's a practice because we're shifting our consciousness, and we have to make decisions to do that in our lives. So I want to ask you, what have you noticed in this last week where you may have felt like you were really stuck? Has there been anything in the past week? If not, don't make anything up. I'm totally happy to have everything flowing beautifully. But take a moment to just think about it. Has there been a place in your own mind with maybe the words you've been speaking to yourself? One of the things that Myrtle Fillmore did is she had tuberculosis, TB, and that was not curable at this time, and her lifespan was expected to be very short. But what she did is she sat every day and spoke to her body. She spoke to her organs. She asked for forgiveness if she had not treated them well or given them what they needed to be healthy. And then she spoke words of truth to the vibration of wholeness. And this took time, 2 years she did this before she was considered completely cured. And I thought, well, if we can do that because the cells of our body are a single organism, right? They're all connected. They all have to work together to be healthy and vibrant. But aren't we, say, let's take a community, each one in this community like a cell in the body of our community, and how we come together and talk to each other and work together is how well we'll create a healthy and vibrant community. And ultimately, the human race, really every living being, including the animals, the trees, the plants, everything is a single organism working together. So, are we speaking words of life-affirming truth to ourselves, to our body, to our family, to our church community, to our neighbors, remembering that that's how we create bridges and we open up to connect again? Indeed. So I'd like to stop right here and let's go into a meditation and bring this idea into a deeper experience of in our consciousness and in our heart. So I invite you to go ahead and sit back and relax. Gently close your eyes if you're comfortable. Take a moment to focus on your breath. However your breath is showing up for you, just watch the breath coming in and going out. And as you focus on the breath, you may notice it begin to relax and slow down. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. As you continue to focus on your breath, allow your attention to move into your heart center. We usually say from the mind to the heart, but I would say come from the mind and include the heart. We bring our heart and our mind together so that it is functioning in alignment and in harmony with one another. Thoughts and feelings and emotions. Feel that as a single entity within your body and within your soul. You may experience your heart mind as light or color or wide open space. You may feel a sense of warmth, a sense of comfort, a sense of openness. Settle in to whatever that experience is bringing you. if you choose, look for or pick a situation or a person or a place or in your body, wherever you wish to feel a healing, a greater sense of connection, a greater sense of flow. Is there a person or a situation or a physical situation that's coming to your attention? If it is, it's probably the one. Just let that situation be there in your awareness, in this wide open space of heart-mind. Our daily word was about acceptance. It's accepting what is in this moment exactly as it shows up. In that acceptance, we release resistance, and the energy and vibration of life can flow. You may want to think of words to speak to that body part, that situation, that person. Life-affirming words of truth. I am whole. I radiate with God's love. You radiate with God's love. This body radiates with God's love. I am strengthened by Spirit within. You are strengthened by Spirit within. The strength of Spirit lives and moves in this situation. This is not an attempt to change it. It's an attempt to see beyond it, to the power of the spiritual truth. So when you find your words, we will sit in the silence for a moment with them. And when you're ready, or maybe not, gently let this space you're in fill your present moment, even as you're coming forward back into this room and back into your body and back into this sanctuary, this holy place. know that energy and that vibration of healing and wholeness are still alive and working within you, working within everyone, and working within every situation. This is really what we mean when we say God is ever present. And as Myrtle reminded us, life is simply a form of energy. We guide it and direct it with our intelligence. And we communicate our intelligence through our thoughts and our words and our voice. Namaste.
We know that as we give, so do we receive. These are the different ways we have to consistently give. So we have those many ways, and we've talked about them before. But also, it's through your generous giving that Unity of Charlotte continues to be a light into this community, a light into this community, a light into this world as well. So please join with me as we say out loud our prosperity blessing. Joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.